Hey everybody, welcome back to the live stream. So we covered Coinbase twice for 2 winning trades and GOTU. We're back in coin short at 50 here, so we're going for the hat trick on coin. Let's see if we can get a push in the dollar. And remember that 10 o'clock time frame is when we were expecting the market to potentially sell off on the housing data. That's my expectations right now. We're also shorting Google here. The first entry was 97.70, and we're going to add here at 98.14. 98.14. So let me just get that prepped. 97.70. So get ready to add to Google. Google's pumping and pushing. Coinbase is basically flat on the third trade here. 98.14 Pierce, we're going to add to our Google. It's a 1-6 position. Google's remaining strong. Should be lifting this tech market. But we're almost there. Still have an eye on coin. I'm going to be adding to coin around, I just got filled on Google 98.15, 98.15. It's a 2-6 position, 98.15. Coin I also got filled at, let me just double check here. Markets are coming in now. I'll give you my Google average in a second. My Google average is 97.95. I also got filled at coin at 50.43 short. 50.43, that's a 2-6 position. 2-6 position. My average on coin is 50.21. 50.21. 2-6 position. Dollar's potentially pulling in a little bit, so we'll see if we can get some market weakness. Bitcoin is remaining up. $50.43. Google's pushing higher now. Coinbase is pushing up.
Is Evergrande going to be?
We'll see if we can add around this 51 level to coin. That'll be the next add level at 51. And then for Google, 98.82 will be the next level. So Coinbase is pushing up. Dollar's weakening. It's going to be our third position on Coinbase. 3-6. If it pushes up there, I am filled at 51.05. 51.05. Coinbase short. 51.05. My average on coin now is 50.47. 50.47. Spiders are trying to creep up. Google, get ready to add to Google. Get ready to add to Google at 98.82. Coinbase is pulling in. Google's pushing up still. Next add level on coin will be a pierce of this 51.33 level. Pierce of that 51.33 level. So we're going to need to see the market pull back. So right now we're slightly out of the money on Google, slightly out of the money on Coin. Spiders are trying to hold here, but consolidating bearishly. The dollar is retracing back to the breakout zone. BABA remains strong on the session. China stocks seeing definitely some strength. Google's remaining elevated. Coinbase is pulling in now. Let's see if we can get another dollar out of Coin. Another dollar on Coin would be lovely to see. Google still remaining strong. You're seeing a little bit of weakness creep into Apple now. Coinbase is falling. In terms of a target on Google, from our level, we're going to look for about 50 to 75 cents. But so far, 3 winners in the book on this morning session. We're trying to go for the hat trick on Coinbase. Spiders are trying to pull in a little bit. You're seeing weakness in gold, weakness in silver, strength still in China. Google's starting to pull off the highs. Let's see if Coinbase wants to. We have a 3-6 position on Coin and a 2-6 position on Google. Spiders are trying to push up again. Coinbase is still pushing up. Google's remaining fairly strong.
Equities up just a little bit, much more so on the Nasdaq. Let's get you the trading diary. Coming up, existing home sales at the top of the hour.
Coinbase is pulling in now. Let's see if we can get a sell side pressure in Bitcoin.
Look out next week, US PMIs on Tuesday, along with earnings from Microsoft, followed by Tesla on Wednesday. Fourth quarter GDP on Thursday, and another read of the US economy to round out the week. From New York, that does it for this week. Enjoy the weekend. From New York, this was the countdown to the open. This is Bloomberg.
Google's coming in a little bit now more. Let's see if the markets can come in a little more. The dollar is falling, so this could be potentially a little bit of a negative backdrop for our trades, considering Bitcoin's moving up, Coin is moving up. Let's take a look at Google. So on Google, we're sitting at 97.89. We're slightly out of the money on Google, but let's see if we can see some extra market weakness. Again, we have 10 o'clock housing data in 2 minutes, so that data could be potentially bearish for the market if it comes in negative. Google's pushing up a little bit more now. 98.75 is the next ad level on Google. 98.75. And then Coinbase, we'll see. So the housing data should be coming out momentarily. The dollar is falling, but so are stocks, so is Google. So let's see if we can get this to come in a little bit more now. Apple's still showing weakness. Still seeing weakness in healthcare. Typically when healthcare is negative on a session, you see markets also go negative. They have a strong correlation. So Google's starting to pull off the highs now. Let's see if we can get a nice profit on Google. Google's still remaining near the highs. Netflix is pulling in. Let's take a look at Coin. Google's putting a potential 10-minute topping tail. That's good to see. Coin's still remaining strong. Housing data should be out. It is spiking the dollar a little bit. Markets are a little bit selling off slightly. So this is where the markets could sell sharply, but we're short Google. We're now in the money on Google. We're now in the money on Coin. Let's watch these trades work in our favor. See if we can get some extra downside. But the S&P is selling off now, so this is good to see. This is good to see.
Trading day, Friday, January 20th. Here are the top market stories that we're following for you at this hour. Avoiding the 1970s. Larry Summers warned central banks not to go soft on inflation. We're going to get the read from Esther George, president of the Kansas City Fed, an exclusive exit interview. And tech braces for more pain.
Still waiting on Google. We are in the money though. Slightly in the money on Coin as well.
Over 4%. And brace for options. Almost 180 million options contracts are expiring today. That's the highest in a decade for January.
Equities since 2008. U.S. existing home sales
from New York,
came in at 4.02 million.
To Bloomberg Markets. And guys, speaking of the data and then equities, it's been a really difficult
week
for the data.
To fall.
Really murky picture, making direction for equities a bit more complicated.
As our question, I think, articulated
Google's
perfectly
continuing to fall, so is Coinbase. Coinbase covers 49.44, 49.44.
Pretty confused right now. The data continue to flow onto the Bloomberg
Bloomberg terminal. That would be about $1 for us.
And the latest numbers we get, Alex, existing home sales.
Google's still up 4% on the session.
Yes.
So if the markets catch a little bit of weakness, this could at least give up half of its gains. But we need market weakness.
Revised a little lower, but this month negative 1.5. So the rate of change shifts, and that was versus an expected number of negative 3.4. So again, just confusing data. The data's all over the place at the moment, but I keep coming back to claims telling us that the labour market is strong. If you base everything from there, I think you've got a pretty good handle on what is happening.
Yeah, just for some superlatives for that. Existing home sales, they hit the lowest since 2010 and dropped the most since 2008. But again, that's kind of what the Fed might want to actually see happen.
Yep.
In terms of then how you read the equity market, and I mentioned options expiration earlier, this is going to be really difficult. Volume is super huge right now. You have a lot of a lot of calls into option expiration.
Yep.
What do you do then when you had a week like this? You got to put on more puts then for February? How do you deal with it?
Well, given the start we've had to the year, I think a lot of people were kind of on the wrong side of it. Therefore, have been chasing the market. Therefore, have probably been doing that with options. Therefore, they're probably
winners. Coin twice, GOTU once, and now we're short Google and we're short Coinbase again. So we're gonna need the markets to show some weakness. The dollar is coming down a little bit though, but it's still technically broken out, and it's just really retracing to support. But the markets are trying to push up. Bitcoin's pushing up, so that's negative for our Coinbase short.
Yeah, fair enough. Bond market here, we're looking at pretty much the whole bond market is on offer. You have 10-year
Yields have softened slightly.
Basis points. We want to send it over here now to Bloomberg and Kansas City Fed President Esther George, an exclusive exit interview as we look on inflation.
And thank you very much. We'd like to welcome everybody who is watching on Bloomberg Television, listening on Bloomberg Radio around the world to Kansas City, where Esther George is joining me. She's the president for a few more days of the Kansas City Fed. And
Coinbase is pushing up, so get ready to add to Coinbase short. The markets are pushing up. Pierce the 5133.
And data we saw earlier this week in the existing home sales are falling. Finally, prices fell for existing home sales and for the median price. But we saw retail sales come in weak. We saw the ISMs come in weak. Is the economy unfolding as you thought it would?
We're just going to tune into a Fed Live interview, but we're going to add to coin at Pierce of 5133.
Responding to some of the forecast and some of the work that the Federal Reserve is doing to try to bring better balance between supply and demand. And of course, as rates have gone up, it always hits most directly, I think, real estate markets. And in particular, we've seen that in housing where mortgage rates have doubled. So these trends, I think, are to be expected in that sector in particular.
Well, a lot of your colleagues have said they're paying more attention to current rate measures.
They're ready to add to coin.
Data that comes out in the CPI and PCE.
Pierce of that level.
Because it's lagged.
Google's trying to push back up.
Why
so
don't
is the
you
S&P.
Ignore the idea.
Bitcoin remains strong. Apple remains weak. So again, we have to pay attention to those leading stocks that pay attention to the leading stocks as they will dictate the likely flow of money. I just got filled on coin, 5133 short, 5133. It's a 4-6 position on coin, bringing our average to 50.69. So Google's pushing up. So the next ad level on coin is this 5204 or 5203. But markets are pushing up. Coinbase is continuing to climb. Coinbase is continuing to push with Bitcoin as the dollar comes down. The S&P is remaining strong. Tesla's remaining strong. Nvidia's remaining strong. So you are seeing some money flow.
That would be a component where I'd want to see some progress before having more confidence that we're seeing inflation come down.
Fed was slow to.
So we're out of the money on both trades right now. Spiders are pushing up as the dollar weakens slightly. But the spiders are still inside of a bearish range. They look like they can push up to gap fill. But lots of resistance up ahead.
Instrument. It transmits pretty quickly to financial conditions, and of course we've
Just
seen
waiting
that.
on Google.
But we also know that there's lag, so it's in the pipeline coming. It's one of the reasons
remains fairly strong.
I supported that downshift to a 50 basis point increase because I think it will be important to begin to watch very carefully what signs are we seeing in the data, but also listening to our contacts in the region and understanding are we beginning.
Just 3 winners for us today.
The kind of progress we need to see.
Semis are remaining strong.
You had a reputation as an uber hawk, somebody who was always very on top of inflation, and yet you were the first one to warn about the lags and the fact that the Fed had to be careful. Was that because of something you were hearing from your constituents out here?
Well, in this most current tightening cycle, I think we were beginning to approach this at the same time that we were taking some dramatic moves to reduce the balance sheet. And so you want to make sure that as you start off on that path of tightening, that you're communicating well and that you are not going to be more disruptive with that. I think we're in a good place today, again, being very clear about the commitment to getting back to 2%, some of this aggressive tightening. But we are reaching a point, I think, where it will be important to start looking around corners, listening more carefully for where some of those shifts are going to take place.
Have you been surprised by the strength of the labor market and the fact that you've raised rates 450 basis points and the unemployment rate's gone down?
So it is. This is a very tight labor market, and I think unusually so in this sense. We've seen 3.5% unemployment before, but when we look at the people that are engaging in that workforce, we are still down in terms of participation compared to where we were in 2019. We see
I just added a little bit more to my Google at 98.45, 98.45.
All the indicators show how tight the labor market is.
98.45.
When I go out and talk to people, it's their number one concern, the ability to find people to come to work. So I think on the supply side of the
Average
economy,
on Google
we're
is
seeing
now
some binding constraints there that
98.20,
more complicated to
98.20.
see inflation come down in a very convincing manner.
Raise unemployment by a full percentage point, and it's about 1.5 million people who lose their jobs. Do you think there's a path to avoid that now? Do you think that maybe this is a different enough dynamic that unemployment doesn't have to rise significantly?
I think when you look so far, so spending has held up. What I'd really be looking for is to see, are some of those job openings going to come down? Will we see some of those vacancies removed as we see this imbalance begin to be addressed? So I think this scenario of can there be a soft landing is one we would all want to see, and there are some possibilities for that. There's still a lot of money sitting in the checking accounts of households. They may hang on to that. That will make the job easier. To the extent that moves out, that may create more persistent need to tighten. But I think you have to wait and see how that unfolds.
Why do you think Wall Street doesn't believe you when you say you're going to hold rates
slightly
for
out of the
a
money
long
on Google.
period and you're going to do whatever's necessary?
I don't know that I'm the right person to speak on
Slightly
behalf
out of the
Wall
money.
Street. I will tell you.
Just barely though. We should see this come in with a little bit of market weakness. Coinbase is still remaining up. You can see over here. We're sitting slightly out of the money, but we've already won twice on Coinbase. And we should see some market weakness creep in. Markets have had a nice rally now. Could see the spiders wanting to fill this gap. But after that, you may see some downside pressure.
Not overly restrictive to get to that point of the 2% long-run inflation goal.
Well, let's stipulate you do that. What do we see in the economy once this cycle is over? Do we go back to the new normal of low rates and low inflation? Do we go
Coinbase
to
up.
an old normal? Do we go to a new normal?
Apple's showing some weakness. Semis are starting to show some weakness.
I think it'll be different. I don't have that crystal ball
Coinbase
to
is
really
pulling
see
in.
what will it be. But one of the things I think has been extraordinary to watch during this time, you had a lot of demand come in. So the support
Google's
from
now up
fiscal
4.9%.
stimulus.
Epic move. Next ad level on Google will be this 98.85. 98.85.
And supply, and in particular, looking at the labor market. And I think there, one of the things that will be interesting to watch unfold, I hope research continues to look at this, is
Let's flip back to
we were
coin.
focused
Coin
for
is
the
pulling
last
in now.
2 decades really on, is it a demand deficiency in our economy? I think this time we've seen that there are some constraints on the supply side. And what structural, the nature of those might be, I think is going to be worth
Nvidia, Apple are showing new weakness. Apple looks like it wants to break a bear flag, so that should be negative for the market.
Your district's economy changed in your time at the Fed, and how does that affect monetary policy?
Well, so many things have changed over my time at the Fed. Still, this part of the country heavily focused on ag
Coins
and energy.
pulling in.
Ag
Google's
sector, you've
pulling
seen
in
a
off
lot.
our last ad level.
Farms are bigger. The way
Three-
they go about, doing
3-6 position on Google and a 4-6 position on coin.
different role. We see transportation and logistics.
Let's just see if we can get a little bit of a dump in this market. We're gonna go for $1 on coin again. $1 on coin, but there is a gap fill on the 10-minute chart basis on coin at 49.44. 49.44, and Apple's looking very weak.
Mindful of that, and we're well positioned to do that, both by boots on the ground as we talk to people, as well as
Google's still hanging in there.
do our research and think about what's going on.
When you look at the world of politics, you see complaints from places in the South and the Midwest that policymaking is decided on the coasts. And I'm wondering if there's any kind of feeling that the Kansas City district doesn't get represented, not by you, not well, but doesn't the feelings of people here aren't as reflected.
Netflix is coming in, putting in some distribution. Look at the spiders. The spiders are just holding there. Coinbase is starting to come in a little bit. It's coinciding with potential downside in Bitcoin.
So you can go from Kansas all the way to the Rocky Mountain West and engage with people.
So the Nasdaq just filled a major technical gap, so we should see downside in tech now. But the S&P has not filled that same gap. Google's pushing up. Get ready to add to Google at 98.85, 98.85. Coinbase is potentially coming in. We're now flat on Coinbase. Let's see if we can get a nice big dump on Coinbase.
But
the Nasdaq just did. Google's pushing up, so get ready to add to Google.
Prior to becoming president of the Kansas City Fed, what do you think?
Dow's negative, so transports are showing weakness. That typically means markets are vulnerable to rolling over. But let's watch Google if it gets another push. Coinbase is coming in. We're in the money now nicely. Google's remaining relatively strong.
Decision-making, of deliberation around that, of ensuring stability in the economy.
Get ready to add to Google. 98.85 is the next level. 98.85. Very close.
Come through to get timed exactly right. One of the things I think, though, that the Federal Reserve is very committed to is learning from those experiences and learning what happened in that. We've done that, for example, from the 2008 and 9 period when financial
So the markets are just kind of hovering, but showing a little bit of weakness creeping into the spiders. Let's see if Google gets another push.
And you see today a lot more attention on thinking about what role does financial
98.85 is the
stability
level.
play.
I'll let you know if I get filled.
To conduct the kind of monetary policy we need to.
No fill yet. We're just kissing that level.
To past episodes are important.
Just kissing that level.
Big issue in economics has been the treatment of women, and your bank is one of the best in terms of.
Wow, missed it by a penny. That's okay. It might come back up. Let's take a look at Coin. Coin, we're still in the money slightly. Google might do one more push-up. Coin's starting to come in a little bit more. Google is pushing. Google's pushing. I'll let you know if I get filled. 98.85. I think I just got filled on Google. Yes, I did. 98.85. My new average is 98.47. 98.47. That's a 4/6. Coinbase is starting to come in now a little bit harder. Good ad on Google, starting to come in. Spiders are coming in now, so that was an epic ad. Coinbase is coming in. Let's see if we can get some harder sell. See if the markets will keep rolling over. The dollar's catching a little bit of a bounce. It's looking likely we see the market continue to sell. Coinbase is coming in. We're looking for $1 on Coinbase and anywhere between 50 to 75 cents on Google. 50 to 75 cents on Google. We're in the money on Coin, just slightly out of the money on Google, but with a pretty decent average. See the spiders. A little bit of distribution. Google's trying to push up a little bit more now.
Thank you very much indeed, Mike McKee, Kansas Esther George with Bloomberg's Mike McKee. We wish her well and thank her.
Coin's trying to come in a little bit harder now. Google's still pushing.
To go. Details to follow. The startup is next. This is Bloomberg.
Coinbase is still trying to come in. Let's see if we can get a little bit more weakness in the S&P. Google's pushing. All right, I'm taking my profits on coin here at 50.29, 50.29 cover. Just a small third gain on Coinbase there. So 15.29, that's a 41-cent gain on coin, a 41-cent gain. Just in case the markets float up on us, but that's 3 winners in coin. We're still short Google though. Still short Google. Google's pushing up. The next short level on Google is 99.30. 99.30. But a beautiful cover on coin, 50.29 for a 41-cent gain. 3 for 3 on coin. Now let's see Google come in. Let's see if we can get some downside pressure in Google. So coin has just paid us handsomely. Now we're waiting for Google's price action to come in. We have a 4-6 position, so we still have some maneuverability in the event that it moves higher. But markets are looking a little bit vulnerable at this point in time based off of what I'm seeing from the transports. The only thing that's really keeping this market going are the semis at this point in time, and Google, that mega cap. Energy is starting to see some weakness. Now if Coinbase pushes up and pierces the 51 level again, we can short it. But right now we're just in Google.
Elon Musk could testify as soon as today in the Tesla fraud trial in San Francisco. Shareholders contend that Musk's 2018 tweets about a plan to take the electric car maker private amounts to lies that cost them big losses. Musk's lawyers argue that he was sincere. Bloomberg's learned that Saudi Arabia's sovereign wealth fund considered buying Formula One motor racing, but a potential deal faltered in the early stages last year when its owner, Liberty Media, was not interested in selling.
Strong.
The Saudi fund valued Formula One at well above $20 billion. Genesis has become the latest crypto firm to collapse in the wake of the FTX exchange's swift downfall. The cryptocurrency lender filed for
get ready to add to Google again. It'll be a nice 5-6 position on Google at 99.30.
And more job losses. Wayfair is cutting about 1,750 jobs, or 10% of its workforce. The company announced the reductions would include around 18% of its corporate employees. The initiative
Coinbase is pushing up to that 51 level again. Bitcoin's pushing up tremendously as well. Bitcoin is also pushing up hard. So we're likely going to see another Coinbase short as well.
Operations. Its parent Alphabet says it will cut about 12,000 jobs.
The dollar has rolled over and we're seeing weakness now.
Workforce. Google has been dealing with a slowdown in digital advertising, plus its cloud computing division still trails Amazon and Microsoft. And that is your latest business flash. Guy.
Britica, thank you very much indeed. Let us pick up on that story. 22 minutes past 7 on the West Coast.
Google's trying to push up a little bit more now. So is Coinbase. I'm going to grab a little bit of more coin if it pierces 51. A pierce of 51. Google's pushing up. 99.30 is the next ad level.
I wonder if it's a question actually the management is asking themselves, right? Because ultimately their growth is set to slow. and you've seen the share price come down massively. Obviously, a lot of that is to do with interest rates and, you know, tech stocks just generally being a bit less appealing on that basis. But they're sort of trying, perhaps, to show investors that they can increase profitability without needing to grow the top line. So if that is, you know, the thought process
Possible,
here, it would suggest that maybe there is a slight
So the
pivot away
dollar
from
is showing
shares.
weakness,
The
which
other
is
way
why
around
we've
it
seen a
is that,
considerable bounce.
maybe you're cynical, you could say, well, maybe it's a rainy day. They're using that as cover to cut some of the chaff so that when things start to perk up again, which they may well do, they're in a far better situation
Waiting
than
on
they might otherwise
Google.
If I just look
Take a
at
look at
Class A shares
Netflix.
here for Alphabet, we're looking at an
The
estimated
S&P is
PE
still
of
positive.
about 20 times. Is 20 times enough to justify a growth stock that may no longer be a growth stock?
We have options expiration expiring today. There's about 3 trillion worth of options expiring, changing hands.
I think I'm right in saying
So the volatility could
you know,
creep
is
in.
it- do you then say
Now
that
we've had
actually
a
lot of the
decent pullback in the dollar. It is retracing back to the breakout zone. So let's just see if we get a bounce in the dollar. But if the dollar continues to bounce off of that breakout zone, then these markets should see another wave of selling to the downside, which is what we originally saw early in the morning. But now the dollar has softened considerably, which favors the float for stocks.
I don't think anybody quite knows the answer to yet is, are these changes permanent?
Let's switch the channels and talk about Netflix. Management changes there. And actually things are working. The ad model looks like it's actually going to be delivering. Has
Netflix is still
Netflix
just
come through the
hovering.
hole and is now on its way out again?
Google's
Well,
trying
actually, to this
push.
question, if we
Coin's trying to push.
take it back to this question about growth stocks, it's like one of the things with growth stocks is that there's sort of an assumption, I'm massively oversimplifying, but there's an assumption that at a certain point you can flip the switch and just generate cash flow when you need to, right?
Yep.
And that is the question with Netflix is that actually
Semis are
possible?
rolling over
Because
sharply, so
one
this
of
is
the
where
things that's
weakness is
driving
creeping into the
subscriber
market.
is,
Apple's looking to roll
investing in
over,
content,
Google's
right?
looking to
You need
roll
new
over.
content, not just to attract new subscribers,
So let's see if
but
we
to
can get
retain
some
the existing
money on
ones.
this Google
So
trade.
there's
It's a nice
always
big
a
position.
relatively
5-6
high
on the
level
mega
of
cap.
spend.
I love playing these mega caps because they're super liquid, lots of volume, and no one's going to come out and buy you out. No one's buying Google. So there's no risk. There's much less risk when shorting the names. But Nvidia is rolling over deeply now, almost going negative. So with leading semiconductors going negative, is that foreshadowing the markets potentially going negative at some point today? There's certainly a likely possibility. Google's coming in nicely now. Let's see if we can get some profit on our Google trade.
They could potentially be making upwards of $15 per month per user, with half of that coming from ads. They've got to build that model out. It's not there yet.
Real quick, how much can they actively make per
So
user?
we're almost in the money on
to
Google.
justify
We're
the
now
kind of spend? You
basically
mentioned
flat
roughly 15.
on
Will they
Google.
get to 20, 25?
So Hulu
This
does
is
$7
without
a month
really the dollar
in
even
advertising
bouncing.
revenue from each of its subscribers. I think, you know, if you can get that to 13, then you'll be looking at $20 a month.
I mean, that's something. All right, Alex, really appreciate it. Thanks a lot. Alex Webb of Quick Take, Bloomberg Quick Take, joining us there. All right, coming up, we're going to turn to the broader markets. S&P up by about 0.4%, NASDAQ 100 up by 1%. Are the highs of the year's in? We're going to break that down with Ethan Devitt, Moneta Chief Investment
Healthcare's
Officer.
caught a little bit of a bid.
Bloomberg.
Stocks that are up, Tesla, but Google's the big winner out of the mega caps. Netflix, of course. Spiders are trying to push, but Google's still seeing distribution. Coinbase is almost at that 51 level. Almost at that 51 level. 51 or Pierce is a decent short level on coin again. I'm going to short coin at a 51 Pierce. A 51 Pierce on coin. Semis are still showing weakness. S&P is trying to push up. Google's seeing a little bit of distribution. Get ready on coin. Pierce of 51. S&P looks like it wants to attack that gap fill. Once we fill that gap, that's going to be a big level for the markets. Will the selling resume? Spiders are continuing to push. Coinbase should pierce that 51 level. I will short it. Spiders are looking to attack the gap fill. So markets are catching a nice little bounce. That gap fill is a shortable level. Let's see if Coinbase gets one more push up. 5 cents away. Coinbase just hit that 51 level. I'm short coin 51. This is the 4th time we're playing coin again. 1/6 position. Short coin 1/6 position at 51. The dollar is falling substantially. The dollar's hitting the retrace zone, so this is the big level for the dollar that we need to see it hold if these markets are to continue to see some sell side pressure. We'll add to coin every 50 cents higher. Spiders are almost at the gap fill. Almost at the gap fill. The Dow's gone positive now.
We're about an hour into the U.S. trading session.
Gold should be seeing some money rotation now that the dollar is positive.
Up by about 1%. Kelly Lyons tracking those moves for us.
Yeah, Alex, we're trying to end the week on a positive note, but unless something remarkable happens, this likely is still going to be a down week for U.S. stocks because we're coming off of a 3-day losing streak on the S&P 500.
Dollar's continuing to fall.
Today isn't enough to
51.50 on coin is the next ad level.
This week, and as you said, the Nasdaq 100 is out
51.50.
Interesting to see that happening as we have bond yields moving higher. The 10-year Treasury yield up about 6 basis points to 3.45, but likely it's really more about the individual stories today than that broader macro cross-asset picture, like Netflix up 7% after blowing it out of the water on subscriber additions in the quarter they reported last night. 7.7 million compared to an estimate of just 4.5 million. So investors taking that news quite well. Also,
Netflix remains strong.
Taken well by the market.
Coin seeing some distribution.
We've gotten today. Wayfair, the online home
Google's still seeing distribution.
Of its workforce, but getting a
coin, we're in the money, 7 cents again. Spiders did not tag that gap fill. Just teasing the market. This is probably options expiration. The markets love to dangle the carrot, get people to jump. Chase that gap. We're almost in the money on Google. Coin, we're in the money.
They're now facing a very
for Coinbase cover, we're going to look for at least 71 cents to maybe $1 again. 71 cents to $1. So let me just adjust this.
Declining for an 11-month in a row and actually hitting the lowest level since 2010. Of course, the housing market, one area of the economy in which you are seeing the deterioration showing up. Still not really showing up in a material way in the labor market.
Spiders are still trying to push up.
For the Federal Reserve. It raises the question of where Fed policy goes from here. We have seen a chorus of Fed speakers talking up the idea that they're going to do smaller hikes, like 25 basis points next month. That is something
Spiders are still trying to attack that gap. You're seeing potential hourly topping till on Bitcoin. Look at Google again. Google's still seeing a little bit of distribution. Netflix remains strong. SPY still have not filled that gap yet, but getting close. 15 cents in the money on coin. 15 cents in the money so far. These markets are looking tired in my opinion, because you've had a terrific dump in the dollar. Basically the last hour and a half has been a dollar sell-off. So now will we see the dollar bounce, which could push markets lower.
Where does that leave us? Are the highs in for the year? Joining us now, Ethan Devitt, Monitor's Chief Investment Officer. Ethan.
So I'm going to look for a cover around the 50.26 level for coin.
On this. If I take a look at European equities, and we surveyed, I think, 19 strategists for what they saw the end of the year number being for the Stock 600, they had that number at 452. We are trading at 451.79 right now, at the highs for the year in.
Well, all I can say is I sincerely hope not. We're sort of 17, 18 days into the year. Certainly, we would really hope we haven't seen the highs, if anything. And that was a great summary.
Seeing some distribution occur. Coin, we're in the money nicely again. Almost a whole 32 cents. Google, we're trying to be in the money. Very, very close to. Apple's putting in bearish consolidation on the 10-minute intraday. A nice bear flag is forming, inside bar bear flag, so that favors a move lower. Dollar's trying to bounce off of support. Needs to hold this level. If it doesn't hold this level, the markets will rejoice to the upside in a attempt at a failed breakout. But the dollar looks poised to break out today because it did confirm it on the hourly chart. Google, we're now in the money, so that's a nice full position. We're in the money on Google. Let's see what we can squeeze out of this company today. So we're going to look for about 50 cents at the minimum. 50 cents at the minimum. Coin is falling nicely as well. Almost hitting our target. Dollar's catching a little bit of a bid. Let me just put a trend line on Google. So like I said, 50 cents on Google we'll try to go for. 50 cents on Google. Coin's coming in, Google's coming in nicely. This is what we want to see. Here we go on Google. Get ready to cover at that 97.97, basically a pierce of 98. We will exit our Google. This is a nice full position. Here we go. Google's dumping. We get a nice one more flush, one more push in the dollar, and we get a nice win on Google.
But remember, it's still getting that hawkish sentiment from the Fed, so it would probably
one more little flush on Google.
At this point in terms of the yield curve. For an investor standpoint, it's a great time to be sitting in cash, a great time to be sitting in biding time in terms of dry powder as to where to enter next. There's going to be more fallout in some of those lagging sectors such as real estate for sure.
What's also confusing to me, and to Guy's
10
point,
cents away on Google. Come on. One more dump. The dollar's pushing. Dollar's pushing. We might get a pierce of that level now, considering that the dollar's pushing. One more flush in the markets and we should be good. But we're in the money slightly. Let's get our 50 cents on Google.
Of the day, I'm sure a few weeks ago, how much of the bad news is already in the price. When it came to home builders, we saw a very ferocious
3 more cents. Let's
demand.
pierce this 98 level. I think we can get a pierce of this 98 level. It was where you put in your original 10-minute topping till. We're almost there. We're going to need a little bit of a push on the NASDAQ or down on the S&P. We need to see some money flow out of the indices. Help us out here, spiders or NASDAQ. Very, very close. Coinbase is floating up a little bit. Almost there on Google.
I would suggest that what we're actually going to see is more positive news on the market side, even while the economy doesn't look so great. We're going to continue to see bankruptcies, store closures, consumers feeling the pinch on inflation. I actually expect
Google's
that
hovering at this level as if it's going to do it. There it is. There it is. I'm filled. I'm covered at 97.94. 97.94. Awesome job. That is a lovely gain. I'll let you know how much of a gain that was. 97.94. Beautiful gain on a full position. 52 cent gain to us on Google. Amazing. 52 times 800 shares. Wonderful job. Now we're just going to flip back to coin. So we're 5 for 5 today. Let's see if we can go 6 for 6 in the day trade room.
seeing a ton of money go into
But
EM
well
and
done.
go into Europe as
Patience.
well. Does that
All before
continue?
11 o'clock. We've closed 6
That
winners.
was actually really surprised me. Obviously, a little bit of performance chasing. Because
Let's
in
go
EM,
Coinbase.
Just remember, even during the course of this year, we were undermining
We've covered
the case for
Coinbase
investing in
now
Russia. We were asking whether China was
3
investable
times. This is
because
going to
of
be
some
the
of
4th.
regulatory
3
changes there,
Coinbase winners, 1
asking
Google
whether
winner,
there was
1
fundamental
GOTU
change
winner.
than what we were seeing in
Baba
terms
is a
of the
potential short at
indications
these
that
levels
China
too
was
intraday,
delivering numbers.
but it is remaining strong.
So why did we see this uptick in emerging market
Spiders are
flows
seeing a
so
little bit of
suddenly?
weakness.
I'm not sure I believe it. I think it's maybe relative to the outflows that we
Let's
saw.
take a look at
I'm still seeing
Netflix.
conviction in emerging markets. Those
Netflix is
outflows
still lingering.
Investors are a little scarred from that. I do see, however, a resurgence in investing in Europe. A lot of Europe is very old economy, defensive. Names, some of the pharmaceutical names, some of the industrial names. There was no reason for them to sell off. They may have sold off because of that energy crisis, which has now been mitigated somewhat. So
Let's
I
take a
do
look
see
at,
better demand for those non-US investing, but still on the emerging market side, I'd be surprised if we see a strong rally and inflow into that sector.
Hence that whole early cycle convo. Ethan, wonderful stuff. Ethan Devitt, Moneta Chief Investment Officer. Thank you so very much. All right, coming up, back to the economic data at the top of the hour. Talk about trying to get all the data through here. Existing home sales falling the most in December.
A little ally short here at 30. Let you know if I get filled. 30.10, 30.1. Ally short. Ally short. That's a 1-6 position. Lots of action today. So Ally is the new short. So we're short Ally at 30.10, slightly out of the money. Let's see if we can get some more trades and profits in our pocket. So Ally's pushing up a little bit. Ally is pushing up. Next ad level will be a pierce of the 30.39 level, 30.39. Coin we're still short. Ally Financial remains strong. 30.39 is the next ad level, but we're short 1/6. The dollar's still trying to bounce. Coinbase is coming down now, so we may get paid on Coinbase here. It is coming down. We're also short this Ally, slightly out of the money. So I'm going to look for a cover on Coinbase around this dotted line here, this 50.26 level, 50.26. Let's get paid again on coin. Can we go 4 for 4? That is the big question. I think we certainly can. Ally, next ad level, pierce of this level. There is a strong pivot at 30.50. Spiders still have not filled that key technical gap. We're still waiting on that. Ally's pushing up. Coin, we're still in the money, about 30 cents. Let's check the energy stocks. Energy stocks have caught a little bit of a bid. So Ally's pushing up. Dollar's trying to push back up.
That's twice the pace targeted by the Bank of Japan, and it's likely to lead to more speculation the central bank will change its monetary policy. Global news 24 hours a day on air and on Bloomberg Quick Take, powered by more than 2,700 journalists and analysts in more than 120 countries. I'm Ritika Gupta. This is Bloomberg. Alex.
All right, thanks so much, Ritika. So U.S. existing home sales falling for an 11th straight month in December.
So the Dow is still positive on the session.
One of its worst years on record. Bloomberg's Michael McKee spoke exclusively to Kansas City Fed President Esther George about the impact of the Fed's tightening.
Yes, I think the economy is responding to some of the forecast and some of the work that the Federal Reserve is doing to try to bring better balance between supply and demand. And of course, as rates have gone up, it always hits most directly, I think, real
Ally's
estate
just
markets.
hovering here.
In particular, we've seen that in housing.
Dollar's still trying to push up. Dollar has bounced off of the key breakout zone, so this is now critical to see, do we get the continuation move in the DXY? So let me just pull that up just so I can show you. Bitcoin seeing some sell side. We're still short coin and Ally. So this was the line that I was talking about. This was our little bit of a breakout. So this is your left shoulder, or this. Let me just erase this. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder, down sloping neckline, breakout, confirm, retrace, and now we're bouncing. Coin's coming in nicely. Get ready to cover coin.
They were on a tear for negative builder sentiment for 12 months, just really eroding in their confidence to start and build new homes. Starts were down, of course, as they manage, a buildup of under construction homes.
Dollar's pushing. Dollar's looking like it's likely to hold that level.
Increased, and I think that has a lot to do with the cost of freight coming down, the cost of lumber coming down, and it's actually really important and healthy in housing that we're not looking like last year.
Coin's coming in nicely. Ally's still trying to push up. The dollar's catching a huge bid.
To not be doing that anymore.
So we should see these markets come in more. Netflix remains relatively strong. Ally's almost at next ad level. Pierce of 30.39. Ally's hitting that level now. It just pierced. I am filled at 30.40. 30.40 short. Second position. Second position on Ally. 30.40. My average now is 30.25. Ally's continuing to push. We've now had 6 10-minute green candles in a row to the upside. 30.70 is the next ad level. 30.70. $30.70 is the next ad level on Ally. Coin's coming in nicely, so get ready to cover coin. Get ready to cover coin. Ally's still pushing. Get ready to cover coin. Will we win the 4th time on Coinbase? It's coming down now a little bit harder. Bitcoin's coming in. Dollar's still remaining strong. Ally's pushing up. Ally's pushing. 30.70 is the next ad level. 30.70. Ally's continuing to push. The dollar's remaining strong. Coinbase is still lingering over our level. Get ready for Ally at our next level. Ally's just pulling off of the high there. Dollar remains strong. Yields remain at the highs of the day. Coinbase is just lingering. It's almost like the markets have gone to sleep a little bit. Google's dropping from the highs. Ally's trying to push, but seeing some distribution now. So Ally's had 6 10-minute green candles the last hour of upside. Basically starting from here has all been green on a 10-minute basis. We're on the 5-minute chart. Ally averages 30.25. Guys, get ready to cover coin. Get ready to cover coin. Almost there. Just lingering. Bitcoin seeing weakness. $50.26. We'll cover coin at 50.26. We're just off of that level now. Slightly in the money. Let's see if we have one more flush down on coin. And that would mean 74 cents to us. Spiders still have not filled that gap, which is really surprising. Coinbase is still lingering. Ally is still seeing some strength. So we're still just waiting on 2 trades, Coinbase and Ally. Ally is trying to push up. Coinbase is coming down. Still prepared to cover Coinbase. It's almost there, 3 cents away. 3 cents away on Coinbase. May pierce that level. Coinbase just pierced that level. I am covered at 50.25. 50.25. Yet again, another win on coin. Awesome job. Beautiful job. 4 trades on coin and we won all 4. That is amazing. Amazing job on coin. Excellent profits on Coinbase. Thank you very much, coin. Back to Ally. Ally seeing a little bit of distribution occurring. Dollars catching a pop. Okay. Well, in terms of my expectations for Ally, basically the next ad level, we have a 2-6 position on Ally. Next ad level will be 30.70. Every 30 cents higher we can add to our trade. I will prepare to take this up to a full position, but I will not hold this overnight. So win or lose, we've closed now 6 trades, 6 of 7 winners in the day trade room. I am not prepared to hold this one overnight, but actually, you know what? This stock can be held overnight, but my expectation is to look for about 50 cents to $1 on Ally as well. Right now we're slightly out of the money, but any cover between 50 to $1, and we still have an additional 4 ad entries every 30 cents higher. So I'll just mark them on the chart. Basically the next one is 30.70, 31, 31.30, and 31.60. So tons of maneuverability in this position, but those are the levels. On that note, I will wrap this stream up. I will be adding to my Ally at 30.7, but other than that, we banked 6 winning trades today, all before 11 o'clock. Excellent job in today's session. Wonderful job picking the technical levels and being patient. And other than that, I hope everybody enjoys their weekend, but closing 6 day trades on a Friday, possibly a 7th one waiting in the loons, is excellent. Just to summarize things, the markets are favoring continued downside, probably once the S&P fills this technical gap. Once the S&P fills that, we likely see some downside continue, but yields are up, the dollar's up. As long as that stays strong, the markets do favor more downside. Okay, other than that, congrats everybody and enjoy the rest of your weekend. We will be doing a live stream of the market close later on in today's session. But excellent job, and we will see you on the charts next Monday. And everybody enjoy your week. Please subscribe, leave a comment down below. 6 for 6, awesome job to close the Friday. Take care, everybody.